What is the biggest limitation of most LLM apps today? They're straight lines. They go from input to LLM to output. And if something goes wrong in the middle, they crash. Or worse, they hallucinate. This is a directed acyclic graph, or DAG. It runs once and stops. But real intelligence requires a loop. We need to think, act, observe, and then think again. That is why we need LangGraph. It introduces cycles to your application, allowing the LLM to loop back, correct its mistakes, and reason through problems step by step. In this crash course, we will move from linear chains to autonomous cyclic agents. Let's begin. If you try to build an agent in vanilla Python, you eventually hit a wall. This is what we call the naive loop. You have to manually write a for loop to limit execution steps so it does not run forever. You have to manually manage the list of messages, appending new tokens, and handling context windows. And worst of all, the logic. Look at this spaghetti code. If the model says check weather, then execute function A, then loop back. It is a nesting doll of if statements. It works for a simple Hello World demo, but the moment you add a second tool or need to handle errors or want to pause execution, it breaks. This is why we need a better abstraction. Now, compare that to the LangGraph approach. Here, we do not write loops. We define a graph. We treat our agent like a system of nodes. We have an agent node that thinks. We have a tools node that acts. But the real magic is in the edges. See this line where we add an edge? We are explicitly defining a cycle. We are telling the system, after you finish using a tool, go back to the agent and report the results. LangGraph handles the looping, the recursion limit, and the state management for us. It turns our code from an imperative mess into a declarative blueprint. Before we use AI, we need to understand the engine that drives it. LangGraph is built on three core concepts. First, the state. Think of this as the memory of your application. It acts as a shared dictionary that persists data as it moves through the graph. Second, the nodes. These are your Python functions. They perform the work like calling an LLM or a tool, and they update the state. And third, the edges. This is the control flow. Edges define the rules for moving from one node to another, allowing us to create loops and conditional paths. Let's build a simple state graph to see how this works in code.
Deep dive into concept 1, the state. In a normal Python script, variables are scattered. X is here, Y is there. In LangGraph, we centralize everything into a schema. This is a typed dictionary. It acts as the memory of our entire application. Here, we define a game state with health, location, and inventory. This schema is the contract. Every single node in our graph will receive this state, modify it, and pass it on. It ensures that our agent always knows exactly where am I and what do I have, no matter how complex the graph gets.
Concept 2. The nodes. A node is simply a function that does work. It receives the current state, it performs logic, like calculating damage or finding an item, and crucially, it returns a partial update. Look at the return statement. We are not returning the matching health or location, we are only returning inventory. LangGraph takes this partial update and merges it into the global state automatically. This means you can write small, focused functions that do not need to worry about the rest of the system. They just do their job and report their changes.
Concept 3, the edges. If nodes are the what, edges are the when. They define the control flow. We use the addEdge function to create direct paths. From start, we go to start game. From start game, we move to explore. From explore, we fight. This creates a deterministic path. But we can also have conditional edges, logic that decides if health is low, run away, else fight. Once we compile this builder, LangGraph stitches these functions into a runnable application that manages its own flow. Now that we have the engine, we need a brain. We are going to replace our simple game logic with an LLM. The flow is simple. Start, go to the chatbot node, and end. But here is the trick. We use a reducer in our state. This ensures that every time we loop back, the new messages are appended to the history instead of overwriting it. Let's build a simple motivation bot to test this connection.
Now let's build something real, a chatbot. Step 1 is initializing the brain, the large language model. LangGraph is built on top of LangChain, which means it supports almost any model provider out of the box: OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, or even local models via Llama. Here, we set up a conditional switch. If we have a Groq API key, we use Llama 3 via Groq's ultra-fast inference engine. Calculations per second matter for agents. If not, we fall back to the reliable GPT 3.5 or GPT-4. This LLM object is what will perform the cognitive tasks in our graph. Here is the heart of our chatbot, the chatbot node. It is a simple function, but pay attention to the return value. It calls the LLM with the conversation history. The LLM replies, and we return a dictionary where the messages key holds a list containing just the new response. Wait, why a list? And why just the new message? Because in our state definition earlier, we used a special helper called add messages. This is a reducer. It tells LangGraph, when you receive a new message update, do not delete the old ones. Append this new one to the list. This handles the entire conversation history memory automatically, saving us from manually concatenating lists every time. An isolated brain is smart but useless. To be an agent, it needs to interact with the world. We do this by binding tools. In this section, we will create a custom Python function like a weather checker, bind it to the LLM so it knows it exists, and use LangGraph's pre-built tool node to automatically execute it when called. This is the first step towards true autonomy.
A chatbot is just a text-in, text-out machine. To make it an agent, we must give it hands. We give it tools. In Python, a tool is just a function. Here, we define getWeather. It takes a city string and returns a weather report. The magic is the @tool decorator from LangChain. It parses the function name, the arguments, and crucially, the doc string. Get the current weather for a specific city. That text is what the LLM reads to understand when and how to use this tool. Clear doc strings generate smarter agents. We have the tool definition, but the brain does not know about it yet. We need to bind them. The bind tools method allows us to attach these capabilities to the model. Note that this does not run the tool. It essentially modifies the system prompt or API payload to say, "Hey Llama 3, you are a helpful assistant. You also have a function called getWeather that takes a city argument. Feel free to ask for it if the user needs weather data." Now the model is tool aware. It can choose to generate text or choose to generate a structured request to call a function. The model decides to call a tool, but the model cannot execute code. It is just a neural network. We need a runtime environment. That is the tool node. LangGraph provides a pre-built node for this. The tool node takes our list of functions. When the graph creates a tool call message, the flow is routed to this node. The tool node sees the request, call getWeather with city equal to Paris. It actually executes the Python code. It captures the return value, sunny, and it packages it as a tool message. Then, via the edges we defined, it passes this observation back to the chatbot so it can formulate a final answer.
What happens if the problem is too complex for a single step, like planning a trip to London? This is where the cycle shines. We use the react pattern. Reason, act, observe. The agent thinks, I need flight prices. It calls the flight tool. It gets the data back, observe, then it thinks again, now I need hotel prices. It loops back, calls the hotel tool. It continues this loop until it has enough information to construct the final answer. Let's build a trip planner.
This brings us to the most powerful pattern in agentic AI, the react loop. Reason, act, observe. We build a graph with two main nodes, planner and tools. But the secret sauce is the conditional edge. The tool's condition logic is simple. Did the planner return a tool call? If yes, route to the tool's node. If no, and it just replied with text, end the graph. And crucially, look at the edge at the bottom where we add an edge from tools back to planner. This is the cycle. It forces the system to go back to the planner after every action. Here's the weather. Now what? The planner thinks again. Maybe it needs flight prices now. It loops again. This cycle continues until the task is complete. Let's see this in action. We send a complex query, plan a trip to London, get flight and hotel costs. Usually, a chatbot would just hallucinate a price, but our React graph springs into action. First, the planner receives the request. I need flight info. It calls search flights. Second, the tool node runs. Flight is $500. It loops back. Third, the planner sees the flight info. Okay, now I need hotel info. It calls search hotels. Fourth, the tool node runs. Hotel is $300. It loops back. Finally, the planner has all the data. Total is $800. It returns the final answer. One input, multiple loops, one detailed output. Autonomous reasoning. By default, LLMs are amnesiacs. They forget you the moment they answer. To build a real product, we need persistence. In LangGraph, we use checkpointers. By passing a simple thread ID with your config, the graph automatically saves the entire state of the conversation. This allows you to pause a conversation today and resume it tomorrow exactly where you left off. Let's see how Memory Saver works. Agents are smart, but by default, they are amnesiacs. Once the Python script finishes, the memory is gone. To build a continuous assistant like ChatGPT handles your long chats, we need persistence. We use a checkpointer. Think of this as a save game system for your bot. In this example, we use an in-memory saver, but in production, you would use Postgres or Redis. We pass checkpointer equals memory into the compile function. Now, the graph automatically creates a snapshot of the entire state, variables, history, improved context, after every single node execution. It writes this snapshot to the database, indexed by a thread ID. So how do we access this saved memory? We use configuration threads. The config dictionary is like a key to a specific filing cabinet. Here, we define the thread ID as user123. When we invoke the graph with this config, LangGraph looks up, do I have a saved state for user123? If yes, it loads it. The agent remembers your name, your past questions, everything. If I change the thread ID to user456, it starts a blank slate. This handles multi-tenancy effortlessly. You can have 1,000 users, each with their own private, persistent conversation history, all managed by one graph. Waiting for a complex agent to finish thinking feels slow. Users hate spinners. LangGraph solves this with streaming. You can stream in two modes: updates, which gives you just the latest changes from the graph, or values, which gives you the full state after every step. This lets you show the user exactly what the agent is thinking in real time, just like ChatGPT. Waiting for an agent to finish thinking can take 10-20 seconds. Users hate staring at a spinning loader, so we use streaming. First, let's look at stream mode equals updates. Instead of waiting for the final result,
This loop gives us a pulse. Every time a node finishes its job, it yields the output of that node. The planner just called a tool, update. The tool just finished executing, update. This is perfect for showing a steps UI, letting the user know exactly what the brain is doing in real time. It builds trust.
Sometimes you do not care about the diffs. You just want the current reality. That is stream mode equals values. In this mode, LangGraph emits the full state after every step. Ideally, if your front end is built on React or something reactive, you just take this chunk and render it. It shows the conversation growing message by message. The user sees the thinking process as it happens, token by token if connected to LLM streaming, or step by step. It makes the agent feel alive and responsive.
Autonomous agents are great, but would you let one tweet from your account without checking? Probably not. This is why we need human in the loop. We can set an interrupt before sensitive actions. The agent works, then pauses. It waits for you to say approve or change this. Only then does it proceed. This gives you the speed of AI with the safety of human oversight.
Automated agents are efficient, but would you let an AI tweet from your corporate account automatically? Probably not. You want a human in the loop. LangGraph makes this trivial with interrupts. When compiling the graph, we add interrupts before publish. This creates a hard breakpoint. The agent will think, it will draft the tweet, and then, right before entering the publish node, it will freeze. It saves its state to the checkpointer and stops execution. It waits for a human to log in, review the draft, and give the green light. Safety first.
So the agent handles the draft, and the human handles the approval. How do we unpause? We fetch the current state using the thread ID. We can see exactly what the agent plans to do. We can even edit the state, rewriting the tweet manually if we want. Then we call graph invoke with none as the input. Passing none tells LangGraph, resume from where you left off. It sees it was paused at the publish node, it sees the green light, and it proceeds to execute the action. This collaboration, AI drafting, human approving, is the future of enterprise automation.
Finally, let's talk about scale. Hard-coding tools works for small apps, but what if you need to connect to 10 different databases? Enter MCP, the Model Context Protocol. It's like a USB port for AI. You build a server once, say a math server, and any AI agent can plug into it and use its tools instantly. In our final example, we will connect our agent to a local MCP server to give it superpowers without writing extra code. Finally, let's talk about scale. Defining Python functions in your script works for small bots, but what if you want to connect to a database, a Slack bot, and a file system, all built by different teams? You need MCP, the Model Context Protocol. It is like USB for AI tools. Here, our agent acts as a client. It connects to an external MCP server. It asks, "What can you do?" The server replies, "I can add numbers." We load these tools dynamically. We do not write the logic. We just plug in the cable. This allows you to build a library of reusable modular tool servers. Using an MCP tool feels exactly like using a local function. The agent decides to call the add tool. But under the hood, a lot is happening. The request is serialized. It travels over the standard input-output pipes to the server process. The server executes the logic securely in its own sandbox. It sends the result back. For the agent, it is seamless, but for the developer, it means you can write tools in any language, Python, TypeScript, Go, and have your LangGraph agent use them instantly. That is true interoperability. We have covered everything from simple nodes to complex self-correcting agents with human oversight and standardized tool protocols. But watching is not enough. You need to build. I have put all the notebooks from this course in the description below. Clone the repo, get your API keys, and build something cool. And if you learned something today, hit that subscribe button.
I'm building more agentic AI courses, and you don't want to miss them. See you in the next one.